Hey mages, welcome to today's video. Today we are looking at some Karlov Manor singles and looking at what are currently the top 10 most expensive cards. Now this set is due out very soon and these are some of the pre-order prices that you can get. Now with some of these cards, you might find that some of these cards are actually good value at the moment. Some you might think are overpriced, which is sometimes what happens with cards before they're released. But we all know that the best way to buy cards is to buy singles. So what's good about this as well, that I did find when I was doing the research for this, I will say that all the card prices are from my sponsors Cardmarket. You can check the link out below if you want to go and have a look at them. But there is 4 rares in the top 10, which is really good because it's usually just smashed all with mythics. This still has its fair share of mythics, but with 4 rares, and 4 of those rares are in the top 6 as well. So that is good for people that like cracking packs. If you like cracking packs, you want to pull the most expensive cards. At the moment, when this set releases, if the prices stay the same, roughly around the same, you're going to have a better chance of pulling these rares, obviously with the percentage to the mythics. But without further ado, let's get looking at the top 10 cards that are the most expensive to come from Murders at Karlov Manor. So in at number 10 at £6.19 is this really cool artifact vehicle. It's a 1 blue and red, so 1 in the Illicit colours, for a 4/4 that has crew 2. It also has collect evidence. Now collect evidence is something new, and the way to get this is to exile cards from your graveyard to the mana cost of the evidence cost, and the evidence cost of this is 6. So this will then turn this becomes an artifact creature until end of turn. But what I think makes people are looking at this and thinking, this is a really good card is because when it attacks, you may cast an instant or sorcery spell from among the cards you exile with it. If that spell will then be put into your graveyard, you put it into the bottom of the owner's library instead. So you get those cards in your graveyard, you can exile them, and then you can replay and put them back into your library, which I think is pretty strong. You're also getting a 4/4 for crew 2 here, which is nice. And I think the blue and red that use a lot of instants and sorcery spells, I think this card is definitely going to see some play. But it is a mythic as well. So, maybe at this price you think it's really good. Perhaps it's one that's going to drop down. Let me know what you think's maybe going to, in the cards that I mentioned, which ones you think might go up and which cards you might think go down. The next card, coming in at £7.40 at the moment, is Urgent Necropsy, a 2 and black and green instant spell. As an additional cast to cost this spell, collect evidence X, where X is the total mana of the permanents this spell targets. Now, I don't know what you think of evidence. I think there's going to be a lot of attacking graveyards in this, so some of these spells might be hard to pull off. Destroy up to 1 target artifact, up to 1 target creature, up to 1 target enchantment, up to 1 target planeswalker that you can do with this. I mean, that does a lot for 4 mana. It is a mythic again, but that additional cost to cast a spell where you have to collect the evidence X, where X is the total mana of the permanents you're getting rid of, it's going to make this quite interesting and quite hard. So I'm a little bit surprised at the price of this, and I think this is, for me, is one that will maybe possibly drop down a bit. We then go in with Massacre Girl, known killer at $7.53, a 4/4 legendary creature, so it can be used as a commander. Creatures you control have Wither, so they deal damage to creatures in the form of -1/1 counters. Gets around indestructible, anything like that, so this is really good. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, if its toughness was less than 1, draw a card. So has a really cool effect, and it's a 4/4 with menace as well. I can definitely see potentially this coming into like a mono black deck, maybe as a couple of to try out, see how good it is. But when you're competing with Sheoldredge for the 4 mana spell, does it do that? No, because Sheoldredge is obviously the best card in standard at the moment, but I think this on its own, there might be some commander decks built around this. And Massacre Girl, we've had a card like this before, and Massacre Girl was really popular, so I can see this Girl known killer being exactly the same. The next one is another mythic, Undergrowth Recon, 1 double green enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, return target land card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Great if you're going to build a deck around creature lands or anything like that, so you can get that land after it's attacked, maybe been killed or anything like that, and then you can bring that back. So I think Underground Recon is a very interesting card to put in there. If you're looking at like destroying lands as well, where you've got like Ghost Quarters in different formats, or even like your standard cards that do the same sort of thing, then getting to replay them and then maybe destroy something else as well. So I can see Recon being a really good mythic. It's only 3 mana as well, £8.35. I can definitely see this being seen in Commander play and some really, really naughty sort of land destruction decks or creature heavy land deck, creature land decks as well. And I think to me it's a really cool card and one that I definitely want to pick up. We then get our first rare as we go into the top 6 at 8.45. It's Hide in Plain Sight. Green cards doing well here, 3 and a green sorcery. Look at the top 5 cards of your library, cloak 2 of them, and put the rest of the bottom in your library in random order. So to cloak a card, put it onto the battlefield face down, you get a 2/2 creature, but it has Ward 2, so that is pretty neat, to be honest. You then get to turn it face up anytime if for its mana cost, if it's a creature card. So nice. 4 mana is still quite high, but it's a really good effect. It gets you to look at the top 5 and then gives you, that cloak card, which is then a 2/2 creature and has protection being Ward 2, so a little bit harder for removal. Will this see play in Standard? I think it probably will in some sort of mid-rangey sort of deck. 8.45, nice rare. Let me know what you think about this one. Then at number 5 is a cool rare. 1 triple blue though is £8.51. Instant speed, exile target non-land card in a graveyard that was put there from anywhere this turn. Copy it, you may cast a copy of it, paying its mana cost. Reenact the crime. I love the name in that, you get to reenact it, so yeah. A lot of people will say that blue players are very criminal anyway. Not me, I'm a blue mage myself. But, the effect on this I think is really cool. So, exiting a non-land card in your graveyard. It's good that it's not instant or sorcery. It's just a non-land card, which makes this pretty sweet, I think, for this. 8.51, a fair for this rare. Probably might drop a little bit. I think the triple blue makes this a little bit harder to cast and will only be in certain types of decks. Definitely in Commander decks because it can easily run that sort of mana. This is going to be looking for some kind of mono blue, possibly 2-color Dimir, or is it, or something like that. But I will say the effect on this is really strong, so I can see it definitely seeing a bit of play. But the triple blue for me makes it a little bit harder for some decks. We then go to the top 4. We got 2 rares, 2 mythics in there. This is the first rare, Layline of the Guild Pact. Can be played for the mixture of colours you can see at the top there. It's got green, white, green, blue, green. So it can be played for 4 green as a definite. If Layline of the Guild Pack is in your opening hand, you may begin the game with it on the battlefield, which is like the theme with Layline cards, if you didn't know. Each non-land permanent you control is all colours as well. And lands you control are every basic land type in addition to their other types. This is coming in around at $8.99 at the moment. Definitely going to see play in Commander. I think, will it be seeing play in Standard? I'm not too sure. It's a good price for what it is. It could be really good. But I'm a bit unsure about this card. I like that each non-land permanence you control is all colours, which makes, certain spells with it are going to obviously interact very well. Lands you control are every basic land type in addition as well, so makes it easier to, cast the spells and everything like that. It's a 4 mana spell. In your hand, you really need 4 of these if you want to get it in there. Your best chance, your best percentages. This is going to have to be a 4 in a deck if we're going to be playing this in Standard. Not sure what sort of deck this will go in. Maybe, into the ramp decks, 5-color ramp and everything like that. It probably will see play, but I'm not sure what it will take out to go in there. So if you think of a good card that you think would take out and then this straight away goes in, let me know in the comments down below. Number 3 is a mythic at 11.81, Ansrag the Quake Mole. It's an 8/4 Mole God. Now, Mole God just sounds amazing. The creature type is brilliant. It's definitely going to be, it's going to attract a lot of people just because it's a Mole God. So when the Mole God becomes blocked, untap each creature you control. After this combat phase, there's an additional combat phase as well. You can also pay 3 double red, double green. It means it must be blocked each combat this turn if able. 4 toughness is nice. The 8 power is obviously massive and it's going to have to take a lot of blockers. You're going to be seeing this as a commander without doubt. It's only 4 mana, which is really good in the colours of Gruul, red and green. Can see this being played in standard Gruul colours because it's just 4 mana for an 8/4. I think the effect is cool. It's a good price. One for me that will probably drop down in price. I think this is one of the ones I think may drop down. If you think I'm wrong, just let me know. But Ansrag is a very cool card. So number 2 is the rare at 12.78, Illicit Masquerade, 3 and a black for an enchantment. This has flash. Ends the battlefield, put an imposter counter on each creature you control. Whenever a creature you control with an imposter counter on it dies, exile it, return up to one other target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Wicked. This is going to see a lot of play, I think. It's a really cool card, definitely in Commander without a doubt. Putting those imposter counters on each creature so they all got it, then whenever that creature you control with imposter counter dies, return up to another target creature that could be a lot more powerful. You can easily discard cards. It can go in a discard deck. You can even, there's lots of spells where you have to, the sacrifice is discarding cards. Getting stuff into the graveyard is going to be easy, and then sacrificing little mana dogs or some tokens or anything like that to get an even more powerful card in. I can see this card seeing a lot of play, and why it's the second most expensive card in the set. I think it's just really, really cool. So coming at number 1 is the Mythic card at 21.57, way ahead on the prices than any other card in the set, is Dely Streetwise Lookout. It's a 2/2, 2 and a white human scout. Creatures you control with power 2 or less can't be blocked with creatures power 3 or greater. So great for little weenie decks, great for little token decks. And also if an ability of a creature you control with power 2 or less triggers, that ability will trigger an additional time, which is just really good to get creatures with low mana abilities coming in and getting the extra trigger. Maybe you're drawing cards, doing other effects, exile effects, anything like that. Dely Streetwise Lookout looks a really powerful card. Now, obviously, it is legendary, so you can't have multiples of these on the field, but it had to be legendary with all that text, great texture now of what this does. This will see play for me in multiple different formats. Whether it could be a weenie commander, possibly, I don't know. Don't know whether it'd be strong enough there to be able to deal with stuff, but there's a lot of good stuff in white these days. But I will see this in any type of low token deck, low mana deck, and seeing if it can get around some of the big mid-rangey decks in standard. I think it's a card that's good to be built around. I will certainly be doing that, and I think this one is guaranteed to see play. And yeah, 21.57, it stays around that price. It's a mythic rare. I hope I get lucky in some packs. I'm not sure if I want to spend out this much on it personally, even though it's a really good card. I will wait for lucky packs or for the price to drop for me. So there's the top 10 cards at the moment from Karlov Manor. These cards are, the best, what they're thinking at the moment. They've got the prices with them. Let me know the end of cards that you really like from the set that you think could maybe go up in price, or just cards that you're really excited about. I think the majority of these cards look really decent, so I can see why these are the top 10 most expensive at the moment. But there's a lot of them just under those prices as well that are really good cards. So yeah, let me know what you think of that. Thanks to everyone that's watched the video. If you can give it a big thumbs up if you found it helpful or just enjoyed the video, it really does help. Subscribing, commenting. We're just a small channel here, and it really does help push the channel out further to more people. And like I said, if you want to check out these cards, check out my sponsors, Cardmarket. Links down below for that. And if you want to go that bit further, become a Patreon. I would really appreciate that, and it helps me make a lot more videos. And yeah, just really help. Thank you for the support. Anyway, you lot take care, and I'll see you on the next video.